Hello, today I'd like to talk to you about what should sellers expect in the first 30 days on the market. So why are the first 30 days so important? Well, they give you a lot of information. This is when the buyer interest is usually at its highest. Everybody, has seen the older listings when something pops on the market. They usually click on it. They start to form their first impressions right there quickly off from the internet. So, we have to make a very good first impression online because that is where the home is first seen. So early activity often sets the tone for for the rest of the sale. So we can kind of gauge how many hits have we had on the views, how many saves have we had. So that kind of gives us an idea of how we're performing on the internet. So what happens when it first goes live? So the listing begins getting the online views and the inquiries. It starts showing the saves, like I said, and the number of views, and then showings start to occur. At least that's what we hope. Buyers begin comparing the home to other homes on the market, and they go, this one, looks a lot better than the other ones. I'd really like to see it. Um, so the showings start, and the feedback is what we're really looking for. That's really going to tell us where we stand. So the number of showings matter. The more showings we get, the more it shows us how we're priced and how we're fitting into the market. But feedback, that's where the the real meat and potatoes are. So the comments reveal how the home is being perceived. The patterns in the feedback help identify strength or concern. So if we start to see the same issues come up over and over again, whether it's a strength or a concern, then we know what we need to adjust or we need to address if it's something really simple. So it also tells us how the market responds to the price. So the first few weeks, the strongest interest often confirms the pricing. So if we're getting a lot of showings and we're getting a lot of views and we're getting a lot of saves, that pretty much tells us that we're priced right. Now, if we're not, if we're, maybe we're getting views, but no showings are happening, that's feedback. That's telling us something's wrong. Clearly, if the number of clicks on the internet or the number of saves tells us that our marketing is out there. I mean, the views are there, people are seeing it, but if they're not making the appointment, we need to think about what's going on there. Are they seeing something in the photos that they're not liking? And if that's the case, then we'll probably have to adjust the price to their expectation because they're also looking at other homes, which are your competition. So during that process of the first 30 days, it is important that your agent is speaking to you on a regular basis. I mean, you could be selling your home vacant and you could have moved somewhere. You're not even going to know if you got a showing or not unless that agent is telling you and keeping you up to date. So you really need that communication so that you can make good decisions later on. So clear explanations again from your agent is going to help you. What does this mean? What does it mean that we only got one showing, in 3 weeks? Or what does it mean that we're not getting any feedback even though they're seeing the property? So the first 30 days really reveal the strategy from there forward. Because I mean, if you were a buyer and you were looking at a home and it goes on there and it seems to be priced right and it seems to have a lot of amenities, you're interested. You're going to go out and view that property. But if it stays on the market and stays on the market and stays on the market, if you were interested, what kind of offer are you going to make on a property that's been on the market a long time? You're going to look at it and go, hey, this is their asking price, but I'm certainly not going to pay that. It's been on the market 150 days. But if you see a property that's been on the market that has all the things you want that are priced right and it's only been on the market a few days, what kind of offer are you going to make on that? It's going to be a strong offer. So as a seller, you have to realize that people strategize that. They look at those days on the market and they say, hey, so as a seller, your strongest offers come in that first 30 days. So you want to be priced right. You don't want to be selling your neighbor's property based on your price being too high and then they go somewhere else. So The first 30 days provide valuable information that helps guide the rest of the selling process. So, knowing what to expect during that time helps seller feel informed, prepared, and confident from the very beginning. So, again, communication, communication, communication. And I give you weekly updates. I update you every time something changes, whether we get a showing, we get feedback, you're reading it. I don't, typically, I don't try to break it down. I send it to you exactly as that buyer wrote it. That way there's no reading into it from me. And then we can talk about what we think it means or what they could be talking about, or, how we can overcome some of those, concerns that they may have. So, anyways, um, that helps you know what to expect during the first 30 days if you have a great agent that has great communication, which is so important. That is one of the most important things when you are selling your house. You need an agent that just doesn't put it on the MLS and then walk away and you never hear from them. So, if you're thinking about selling and you need an agent that has great communication skills and will hold your hand and help you through that process and make you feel comfortable so that we can make decisions together and you feel good about the decisions you've made, give me a call, 352-601-8627. I'd love to talk to you, and I'd love to interview for the position of selling your home. Thanks so much.